What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 37 of the Finale podcast. Today we got Zach and Christian back on for their last appearance of the NFL regular season. It's also New Year's Eve when we're recording this, so just want to wish everybody a happy New Year and a wonderful 2023 looking ahead. So Zach and Christian, man, what's it been like this year for you guys with your predictions? How would you kind of rank that for yourselves?
I think I've been pretty bold, um, pretty, no, um, unafraid to make a crazy prediction. I mean, it is the NFL after all, and I think making crazy predictions isn't too out of the realm. And hopefully, a lot of people don't, want to kill me too much with my takes and all that stuff.
Yeah, when you hear people talk about a lot of certain things, you hear the term risky business thrown around, but making NFL predictions is riskless business. I feel like Zach basically put it best when he said like anything could happen or like things just happen or like just been you just kind of have to wait and see what happens. This year's by far, in my opinion, the craziest it's been. Any given Sunday has never rang truer than this year.
Yeah, definitely. There's been a lot of upsets and a lot of unexpected things going on. So let's take it back to week 16. Obviously, a few weeks left in the season. So from week 16, what was your surprise game and disappointment? I can go first. I'll say for me, the Packers game was a surprise against the Dolphins, especially the second half. I think they responded well in the second half. After the Dolphins had some good offensive drives, and then the fourth quarter for the Packers obviously was really good with the turnovers. Um, so that's a surprise. They're still in the playoff race and they pretty much control their own destiny. Um, the Titans is a disappointment for me losing to Houston. And not only have they lost their place in the AFC, they've lost their place in the division, which they had full control of. So Jacksonville's leading right now, and it doesn't look like the Titans are going to get better anytime soon after their loss on Thursday night to the Cowboys. So those are the two for me that I've picked.
For me, I'm going to take it in a little bit of a different direction. Um, for disappointments, I think Carr getting benched is just absolutely the biggest monstrosity of this season, and um, I think it's Josh McDaniels, trying to point the finger of why the season has gone so wrong for the Raiders. Um, I think that he thinks if he wins the last two with Jarrett Stidham, that he's hoping that ownership and general management is going to say, well, maybe it wasn't Josh McDaniels' problem. Maybe it was actually Derek Carr, and obviously the media is going to go nuts this and think the same way. Uh, if the Raiders do win the last two games. So I thought that, I think that's like McDaniel's whole reasoning behind it. He's trying to save his job and trying to make it look like it's all Carr's fault and not his, even though everybody knows exactly what's going on. And the Cardinals have just been a complete dumpster fire ever since Kyler Murray went down. I mean, they were kind of a dumpster fire to begin with, but they just haven't been able to pick up the pieces ever since Kyler tore his ACL, and um, it's affected every aspect of the team. I didn't think that Kyler Murray, was a huge piece to the puzzle. I thought that, D Hop and Hollywood were and James Conner were big pieces to that puzzle, and I thought Kyler, was maybe half or even less than half of the contribution to that offense. But as we've seen play from Trace McSorley and Colt McCoy, it just has gotten worse, and it's not really so much as like you can plug anybody into that offense and it'll be successful. Um, so that's kind of my disappointment for last week.
My surprise is kind of like I'm gonna show the more relevant games some love. I was kind of surprised the Rams put it on the Broncos like they did. Not saying like the Broncos are good, how did they do that? Or the Rams suck, how did they do that? But just kind of like it was just such a random thing that just kind of happened that I was like, whoa, well, look at that. And Denver, like, as bad as their offense has been, like, people always point out the fact that they're not necessarily out of games because their defense is so good, and then their defense just got mollywopped. It was wild. So then I think my biggest disappointment was the Dolphins game. One, strictly from a human standpoint, of how once again a mishandling of Tua's concussions, and two, because it would have been really nice to see the Packers' playoff hopes just evaporate on Christmas Day. I think that would have been beautiful, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the Broncos, so obviously they let go of Nathaniel Hackett.
Yep.
Um, so kind of how would you look at that situation in Denver and like look at the Broncos moving forward after Nathaniel Hackett? Is there, going to be a new type of confidence with them? Obviously not this year, but next year. Do you think they have the pieces already? Do you think we'll see a new Russell Wilson? Like, what are we going to expect with that?
Talent wise, I
I
think
think.
they're. Sorry, sorry.
Oh no. I mean, I think they've had the pieces. They've had the receiving core. They've had. I mean, they need to get a new running back for sure. But I mean, that's really not their problem. Like, it's not their big problem, and they need Russell Wilson to play well. They need to build him, and the receivers need to build chemistry, and they need to figure out what went wrong this season. They need to watch a lot of film and um, solve a lot of the problems that they had this year. Clearly, Nathaniel Hackett, I mean, was a huge piece of that puzzle of the problem, but um, a lot of it was Russell Wilson. Well, not a lot of it. Like, it's Russell Wilson still was a problem, and I feel like the chemistry with the receivers was still a problem. And Melvin Gordon not being able to get going, and obviously Javonte Williams being hurt was a huge problem as well. So
Yeah, I think they have. I agree with Zach. I think they have the talent. The players, I don't think, are the problem. Because you look at all over their roster, they're loaded. Like you look, you're like, how is this team? Well, how does this team only have 4 wins, 5 wins? How is this a thing? But the coaching clearly was just a disaster. I think it also.
I'd like,
I think they need to go to Sean Payton's house with a blank check. But the one thing that might it'll either help a lot or it'll really throw a wrench in things is Sean Payton wants Vic Fangio to be his defensive coordinator if he comes back. So
uh,
Denver of all places, it's just kind of like, would that help like the case for Denver or would that hurt them? Like, yeah, we fired you a year ago. No, please help save our team.
I like to redact my statement about the Broncos need to get a new running back. I totally forgot about Javonte Williams being injured.
Oh, yeah, that's big too.
Yeah,
I was reading like the Broncos, if they bring in Sean Payton, they just bring in a whole new staff of people that are just like out of the league. I think that's what they were saying.
So
Like
just
they'd bring in like
the whole fresh start
Mike
thing.
Zimmer or something. Yeah, something like that. Just all like people from Sean Payton's that he's connected with from that tree or whatever.
That would
Like
be a
that's
really
what I
good
heard.
idea too. I don't think
Yeah,
teams do that ever, so
no,
it can't hurt.
yeah. I mean, we'll see what they do. I think they could, do well with like a little bit of a veteran coach. That would kind of help them. I think Nathaniel Hackett was like hit or miss. That could have been the case with the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Because we actually were looking at Nathaniel Hackett. He's obviously the coordinator in Green Bay. That's a hot position. So, naturally he's going to get looks. So, I mean, anybody could have taken that chance on Hackett and the same results could have happened. But, do you think they should have waited to give that contract to Russ, though? Or what?
I think that was part of the agreement on him because I think he had a no trade clause, didn't he? So he kind of was also like allowed to choose where he wanted to go. So I think that might have been part of the agreement. He's like, okay, I'll choose Denver,
But, yeah, okay.
but I could be
That's a good
wrong. Maybe there was no trade. There wasn't a no trade clause, but if I remember correctly, there was. But again, if there wasn't, then he
point.
probably had no choice, and they were like, oh, thanks for being a part of the team. We're going to give you a new contract.
Yeah. I
But that
mean,
was the case with Watson. I know that for certainty. He had a no trade clause. He got to like pick, and he probably was
oh
like,
yeah,
he was probably like, run me the bag, and I'll be a Cleveland Brown.
definitely. Um, okay, so of the eliminated teams out of the playoff picture right now, which team are you going to be highest on going into next year? I can remind you the teams. They're going to be the Texans, the Broncos, the Colts, the Browns, the Bears, the Cardinals, the Rams, or the Falcons.
God, I'm gonna have to say the Rams. I mean, there's no way they don't put it back. They don't put it all back together. Um, I mean, they're the defending Super Bowl champions. As much as it pains me to say it, being a Niners fan, obviously I think they're probably going to be like the first pick out of any team to make the playoffs next year that didn't make the playoffs this year. So, I mean, Denver's obviously right behind them as they were, this season as a hot pick to go to the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. But for me, it's the Rams.
For me, it's the Browns if they get Deshaun Watson playing to his Deshaun Watson level that he played in Houston. Going back to the whole like talent thing, like the Broncos, they have the talent. Their defense is player wise solid. Their coaching staff, maybe I sound a little biased because it's Stefanski, but their coaching staff is spectacular. I've heard nothing but good things about that coaching staff. And Deshaun Watson is an all pro quarterback at his peak. So, and they have been in right there in games all year. It's not like they've been faster like the Rams have tended to be, but the Rams just haven't had healthy players. The injury bug bit them hard this year. So I was going to go with the Rams, but Zach picked them. Don't want to piggyback that. An honorable mention is the Colts if and when they get Derek Carr. Because I've been saying that for months. Next year he'll be a Colt. Zach can back me up that I've been saying this for months. I was like, next year he'll be a Colt. Next year he'll be a Colt. If they have Derek Carr, I think they'll be a team to watch. Also, another honorable mention. The Bears, I don't think will be that good, but I think they'll be a team to watch.
Hmm.
Yeah, they need to get
Okay.
Field. They need to get Fields and the receivers playing well. It's just a lot of the woes that happen with the teams that are out of the playoffs is it's just building chemistry, and it wasn't able to be just it wasn't put together this season,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would say the same with you guys. I think the Texans, it'll take another year.
For sure,
They
yeah.
probably will have a rookie quarterback next year, whether it's like Bryce Young or whoever it is. Probably take another year for them. Same thing. I think the Cardinals. I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason, but I think it might take another year for them to get back to where they were last year. And then the Falcons. We'll see what Ritter does next year. I just don't think they're ready yet. I think the only reason they had a chance this year was because of the NFC South.
Yeah, so bad.
But yeah, moving on. So we'll just go and give you guys the points tracker update, see where you guys are at with this last week. Um, so Zach, up until last week, was first place, so he's in really good position right now. He's at 141, and Christian is six behind at 135. Um, the top two right now, they've finished at 153 and 168. So that's pretty much the target mark if you want to stay within the top two, 153 and 168. So yeah, just definitely want to get above 153. Zach is 12 away, and Christian is about 18. So yeah, you guys are in like really good position. So congrats on that. I think Christian, you had either a bold. I think you had the bold prediction that gave you like a good decent boost.
Was it the
So
Trevor Lawrence week? Because I remember randomly being like, screw it, but I
Yeah.
can't remember if it was the same week he actually went off.
it might have been that, honestly. I can't
It
remember what it
was, I think.
was. Yeah, it was the Trevor Lawrence week.
Ah,
Yeah.
feels good.
um, but yeah, we'll see where you guys end up. So I asked the guests last week what their Super Bowl teams prediction that they'd have in. So who would be in the Super Bowl? So I wanted to see what you guys would say right now. Who do you think is going to play in the Super Bowl this year?
It's going to be an interesting side in the NFC because I really want to pick the Niners. I mean, I will, but like, um, it could be really anybody. I'm curious to see if the Eagles could pull it off and go, but I feel like all their momentum is kind of fizzling right now, just a little bit with the Hurts injury. But um, and the AFC, it's kind of clear. It gets clearer and clearer every day with the top three teams being, Cincinnati, Buffalo, and Kansas City. I'm gonna go with the Super Bowl rematch: Kansas City versus San Francisco.
Zach took mine. That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna stick. I'm
We
gonna.
use the same
I'm
thing.
gonna stick with it. I think it's gonna be. Someone asked me a few days ago who I thought it would be, and that's what I said. So I'm sticking with it. I think it's gonna be Kansas City and San Francisco. It doesn't really help the whole points thing because we both get it right. Then whoever has the lead just keeps it. But for the sake of my staying true to the prediction, I do think it's gonna be Kansas City and San Francisco.
I mean, yeah, a lot of teams. I mean, I would see that at the NFC. The 49ers look really strong right now.
I think they're the
And then
best
the
team in the league
Chiefs,
right now.
the Niners, you think so?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are a very close second with
Yes,
Buffalo
sir.
right behind them. I think they're the top three. I think it goes 49ers, Chiefs, and then Bills. Then there are people who are Eagles fans probably, oh, you don't think the Eagles are that good because you hate them. I think the Eagles are really fucking good. I think they're scary good. I think they're like the type of good where like, okay, yeah, but it's the Eagles and like they have a history of choking, kind of like the Vikings, but but they could just sneak through and just blow everyone out on the way to winning a Super Bowl. I do think it's possible. I just think legitimately you look at how things have been the last few weeks, I just feel like San Francisco can just make that run. Philadelphia is right there at 4 for me. It's Philly 4, Buffalo 3, Kansas City 2, San Francisco 1.
So you think the 49ers could win on the road in the playoffs?
Yeah, definitely. I hate to say it, I don't see Minnesota beating them at home. Philadelphia, I think San Francisco right now, in terms of the playoffs, is the only team built to beat an offense like Philly's on the road. I, I they wouldn't end up in Green Bay, but they've proven they can go into a place like Lambeau and win.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think they'd play on the road. Play on the road if they're not playing the Vikings or Eagles. I don't think they have to play on the road because they'll be the 3 or the 2. So unless they're playing them 2, they won't have to.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, okay, I like those. So we're gonna play our NFL grid trivia game. So kind of told you guys about that already. This is gonna be worth 3 points going towards the points tracker that we've been doing. I'll give you guys a little refresher on the rules here. So you're gonna guess a player that's played for the two teams that correlate on the graph. So if it's like Vikings and an AFC team like the Titans, you pick a player that's played for both teams. I can't think of one on the top of my head, but like you guys
Darius
get the rules
Reynaud.
with that. So yeah, go ahead with that. Yeah, so um, pretty much first to five is gonna win. Last week we didn't get to five because we just had a brain fart after like three. So it's not easy. I think it'll get to a point where you might get stuck, and then especially when I bring in the little 15-second timer on your picks, I think that's when it gets a little bit more challenging. But the first few, I'm just gonna see how it goes. Let you guys take your time with those. Everybody gets one turn. It's not just like first to blurt it out. So it's gonna be Christian's turn. It's gonna be Zach's turn. Back and forth with that. Each person gets a guess, and then we go from there. So first to five is the winner. 5 out of 9, and then you get 3 points for your points tracker. But yeah, I'm gonna send over the grid into our group chat here, and then that's what we're gonna be basing this whole thing off of.
I'll leave the obvious one for Christian. I'm gonna go Jacksonville and Minnesota. Troy Williamson.
Hmm.
Troy Williamson. Sun. Jaguars, Minnesota. Okay. I mean, we know that. Jaguars, Vikings. Okay, that is a point for Zach. All right, Christian.
Uh, well, Vikings, Patriots, Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch back when it's not my turn, so there's no like password cheating or googling going on here. I'm just on my phone too, so if I'm
Yeah,
on here,
yeah.
I'm not looking at anything else.
Okay. All right, Zach, back to you.
Jacksonville and Washington, Mark Brunell.
I got a quick question.
Sure.
If a player didn't play in the regular season, but he did play in the preseason for a team, does that count? Does he just have to be rostered?
I think he just has to be on the 53, like, so, the 53 that they pick for the regular season.
Okay, so maybe mine won't count then for my next one. I was gonna, if I say anything at all, does it count as wrong? We move on. Well,
If you're wrong, we move on, yeah.
Well, I know for a fact Taylor Heineke was on the Vikings at least in the preseason, and I know he started a game for Houston. That's why I asked. Like he was at some point on their teams, but I don't think he ever made Minnesota's 53. So if he didn't, then I'm okay with that being wrong. Because
I think Taylor Heineke was a backup during the season for the Vikings. Let's just go with it. I think.
if it's
I
okay
mean,
with you, if you guys are like,
I
nah,
think
then.
No, that works.
But I know he started for Houston, and obviously he played in the preseason. I don't know if he ever made it.
He might have been a third
But now
stringer. I think that worked.
But now I can't use Heineke for Washington and Houston. It's a shame.
All right. So you guys both have 2 points. All right, Zach, back to you.
Wait, we can't reuse players.
No, we can't reuse. Yeah, we can't reuse.
Players? Okay.
No.
Because then you could use Randy Moss for the Patriots and the Niners.
Yeah.
Oh, God. God, I wish D'Amico Ryans counted for Houston and San Francisco.
That would be a good one. Yeah, does it count if they coach another team?
Nah, no coaches.
Damn.
Arden Key, Jacksonville and San Francisco. If you want to look it up. I think that's one.
That sounds familiar too.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's a thing. God, I don't know if I have anyone left. I can't remember what the board looks like now.
Right here. I drew it up.
Arden Key. Interesting. That's a good guess. Damn.
I gotta dig deep into that Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, back to you, Christian. That one
Oh
was
wait, no,
good, Zach.
we've
Oh,
used all of them
the
for the
Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was me.
Washington.
Three to two right now.
That whole top row is gone. Who do we have left? What hasn't been used? Washington and New England,
Yeah.
San Francisco and Houston. And what else?
There's four. So Washington and New England, San Francisco, New England, Washington, Houston, San Francisco, Houston.
Oh, we got all these Jaguars and Vikings ones.
Vikings, Tigers,
I feel like there's got to be one with the Niners and the Texans. I mean, obviously there is, but I can't think of anyone. Santana Moss never played for New England, did he?
No,
No.
not from what I remember. No.
I feel like time's up.
Yeah, we're gonna do the timer now. So Zach, your
Okay.
turn.
Yeah.
Washington, Houston. Come on, San Francisco, New England.
It's like, we can't sit here all day while I try to brainstorm something.
Yeah.
It's gotta be San Francisco, New England. Come on. Running back. Come on. There's got to
All
be
right,
one.
that's back to you, Christian.
Christian. Washington. Like there's a lot of Washington, New
I feel like
England.
did Ben Watson play for San Francisco?
Is that
Not
your
that I can
guess?
remember.
Yeah, that's my guess. Benjamin Watson.
Benjamin. Okay, what are the teams?
Uh,
Benjamin. Washington. Did you say Washington, San Francisco? They're on the same side. Oh, Washington and New England. Or no, San Francisco, New England, right?
yeah.
It's tough, right?
Yeah. Trying to think of journeyman quarterbacks. That also could help.
Ooh, I got one. Thank you.
Uh,
All right, back to Zach.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Washington and Houston.
damn it!
Oh, that is good. That we know that one. That one is definitely correct. Ryan Fitz, Washington and Houston. Dang. As soon as I heard journeyman quarterbacks, I knew that one was coming. Ryan Fitz.
Yeah.
God, how did we miss those for so long?
I love how out of all the players that I thought of for Jacksonville, San Francisco, I thought of Arden Key and not Carlos Hyde.
Ooh, Carlos
Ours-
Hyde also played for Houston.
yeah.
Big mouth.
Back to you, Christian.
Carlos Hyde. Exactly. I don't know if that's allowed to be a thing, but if I
No,
get
I
it,
mean
I'll take.
we said Carlos Hyde, Houston, and
Well, San Francisco.
Houston, San Francisco.
So there's two left. I think Zach still has one on me.
Yep,
I have
it's four to
it's
four to
4 to
three.
3.
Zach,
Come on.
this could be for
So
the win
Zach
right
can,
here.
yeah, Zach can win it right here.
Oh my God. I wish, what's his face? Alfred Morris played for the Niners and the Patriots or the Niners. Okay. There's gotta be a running back. Come on.
That's what I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think of running back.
All right, Christian, back to you.
He probably did not. But did Roy Halou ever play for the Patriots? Because he did play for Washington. I just
Yep.
feel like that's a random thing Bill Belichick would have done. Roy Halou, sure, okay, you'll play for us.
Nope. The only other team he played for was Oakland Raiders.
Damn.
All right, Zach.
I'm trying to think defense now. Oh my God, this is probably wrong. London Fletcher, Washington, and New England.
Ooh, that might be it. I think he did. I can see a 59 and a Fletcher for the Patriots.
Patriots.
The suspense.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't think he did. Part of me doesn't think he did.
He played for Buffalo and then he played for St. Louis after Washington.
Oh,
Christian.
Oh god, I thought one just popped into my head and then it escaped me. Emmanuel Sanders for the Patriots and the Niners? Towards his end? No, I don't know. I feel like throwing out a name is better than nothing.
Yeah, it is.
He played for a lot of teams, but I don't think he ever played for New England.
Yeah, he never played. Okay, back to Zach.
I had one just now and now I lost it. I don't even know if it's right. Oh, Patrick Ramsey, New England and Washington.
No,
I don't even.
he played
He never
for the
played.
Jets though. All right,
Trying to think
Christian.
historically.
Okay. Who the hell?
Zach.
Oh my God.
It's like fun fact. These are their three teams.
Champ Bailey, New England, and Washington. I don't know. I don't think that's right at all. I'm throwing out a name.
No, just Washington and Denver.
This is wild.
All right, back to
Dude,
Christian.
when I saw those teams on the grid, I was like, "Are you kidding me? I can't." I mean, it's supposed to be challenging, but recent.
I mean, I could give you the player and then just fill out that spot if that helps. Then you just couldn't use San Francisco and New England.
New England. Hold on, let me give me like, if Christian thinks of it, he can blurt it out. But like, let me give me 1 second.
All right, yeah, it's back to Christian anyway. Timer.
Oh,
I'm not Mr. Know the 49ers, but I feel like I should know too then.
I mean, yeah, you should. Just because Zach's a 49ers fan.
I can't.
All right, Zach, back to you.
I feel like for some reason it's a defensive back.
So it's
Um,
Pats, 49ers, and then Washington Pats.
Yeah, but yeah, it has to be the player has to have at least played for the Patriots, but it can be San Francisco or Washington.
Right. I mean, I can give you
wait,
the
wait, wait,
guy.
wait. Trent. Oh wait. Oh no, wait. No, it's not Trent Taylor. Yeah, give us
All
the
right,
guy
Zach.
for San
Zach.
Francisco, New England.
Who?
Because I can't give it. Oh, Josh John. No. Oh my God.
You got a guess?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Josh Johnson for either San Francisco, Washington, or New England. Like any of them, to be honest.
Okay,
It's probably
Josh
San
Johnson.
Francisco. Played for
Which Josh
Washington,
Johnson? Which one are we talking about?
quarterback.
Quarterback. All right.
I'd be shocked if he played for the Patriots for like 2 seconds. To be honest, let's take that one.
I'll take it if he's been rostered at any point. He could have been there for a fucking 4 hours in April at some point. I'll take it. He technically was on the team. That's a long list you're looking at for Josh Johnson.
Nah, it
It's
doesn't.
like
It
20,
doesn't.
20
No.
teams.
Yeah, it's a lot of teams. It doesn't correlate though. So
I can't
sorry.
think of it. What's the New England and San Fran one that you know of?
Okay, I can give you that one.
Yeah, give that one and then give me like a chance to tie, and then if I don't, I guess then Zach wins. But if I
So four.
do, then we'll just like final round or whatever.
Yeah, if you guys tie, it's a final round. All right. The Patriots San Francisco guy is Kendrick Bourne.
Are you
Oh
serious?
man.
My God. I should have known that. It was so obvious it was hard.
Yeah,
Oh
Kendrick
So
man.
Bourne, receiver.
give me like 20 seconds and tell me when the timer starts to think of something for Washington and New England. If I don't, well, Zach and Greg win. Are we all good with that?
Yeah, for sure. I'll start the timer whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
All right.
I ought to look it up.
Albert Hainsworth.
Oh wow.
Is that off the dome? Albert Hansford.
I was like, God, there's got to be someone. I was like, he played for a lot of teams.
He played for Washington, and he played.
Tennessee.
New England. But I think with the Eagles for a second. I don't know.
He was on Tennessee, then Washington. And I can't
So
remember if he was done after that.
he finished his career with the Patriots. Dang. So that works. He played for two teams in 2011: the Patriots and the Bucks. Okay, that works. Dang.
The
That
last
was
two were obvious. I didn't think. I was
Yeah,
still
I
not.
like looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, Albert Hainsworth. I was like, didn't even look for the Patriots. All right, sudden death start with Zach if he gets it right. That's it.
just okay. So
Oh,
sudden
there's
Because
death.
it's fair. He had the lead going into it.
the
I
board's
just
filled
got it
up.
changed.
The
Should
board's
I
filled
just
up.
edit in
So
somebody else?
Well,
how should we do
we could
this? Sudden
random
death?
generate two teams.
Random
Just
generate two
random
teams.
generate two
All
teams
right. Let me random
and
generate
see
two
if he can
teams.
get it.
Random. This could be an easy one, but I'm gonna random generate two teams. All right. So the first team. Actually, I'll just give you both of them at once. All right. So the two teams are going to be the Carolina Panthers and the Buffalo Bills.
Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, Zach wins.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. Zach wins. I was like, there's got to be somebody. And I was like, oh, no, they didn't. And then Zach said him. I was like, shit.
Thanks. That was good. You guys actually did really well.
Yes,
Zach
sir.
wins. Zach wins with that one, and Zach gets the 3 points.
Good shit, Zach.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we can go into the predictions now. So we got Cardinals and Falcons coming up on Sunday. Both these teams are out of the playoffs right now. Both of them coming off of L. Cardinals are 4-11, and the Falcons are 5-10. I think the Cardinals are still going to go with Trace McSorley, and the Falcons are still going with the Ritter for the remainder of the season. So, what do you guys have for this game?
I have Atlanta winning 13-9. I think Desmond Ritter plays better. I mean, 13 points isn't really playing better, but
Yep.
I have Cordell Patterson playing a nice big part in this game. Arizona, like I said before, they're just a dumpster fire, and they can't figure it out without Kyler Murray. So, and Atlanta's close. So I got Atlanta one on that one, 13-9.
I kind of liked how Arizona held on against Tampa Bay. Not that Tampa Bay is what they used to be. So, while the smart choice, I would agree, is probably Atlanta, I just have a feeling about Arizona winning 17-13. At this point in the year with certain teams and certain games, you just got to go off a feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This one, we got the Bears and Lions. So the Lions obviously very much alive in the playoffs. Took a tough loss last week to Carolina. So they're playing the Bears. The Bears are going into Ford Field after their loss versus Buffalo. They're 3-12 right now. Lions definitely need a win with the Packers on their heels. So what do you guys have in this game?
If the Bears can exploit what the Panthers did right last week, they can win this game. But otherwise, Detroit's playing for too much. Chicago's not really playing for anything. I'd say Detroit's going to come out wanting to win the game more. But that's all, I just wanted to say that about Chicago for the beginning.
Yeah.
I got Detroit winning 20-3.
Both teams lost last week, but the Bears definitely played a better game, and they played the better team too last week. And I think if Justin Fields can pull together a good game, they don't beat themselves. To Zach's point about the Bears have nothing to play for, the Lions have everything to play for. Games like that tend to be a trap game for the team that has everything to play for. So I'm gonna lean towards the Bears 20-14.
28 or 20?
20.
20-14. Ooh,
I know I said 20-13 for the last game, but
that's good. 20-14. Next game we got the Jags and Texans. So the Jags are the AFC South leaders right now. Beat the Jets last week. The Texans also coming off a win last week against Tennessee. Jags obviously have a lot to play for, holding on to the division lead, creating even more of a gap with Tennessee losing on Thursday. So what do you guys have for this game in Houston?
I have the Jags winning 19-12. I want to go with more scoregami type scores because I like traditionally we always guess the traditional 31-28, which is what I have here
Yeah.
by the way, 24-14, stuff like that. So 19-12, I feel like. I feel like Trevor Lawrence comes back down to earth from the way he's been playing the last few weeks. Given it's a division game, um, Houston I feel like has a lot more heart than to beat the Jags than the Bears do to beat the Lions, but they'll just score more in a sense. But yeah, so yeah, I got, uh, but I still have the Jags winning despite that 19-12.
I have the Jaguars winning as well. Uh, I know for the last game I said teams who have everything to play for, the Jaguars in this sense, and teams with nothing to play for, trap game, all that. But unlike the Chicago game, the Jaguars won last week, and they've been consistently been playing well, and now they're in the driver's seat of their destiny. Houston's not very good. Like the Bears aren't very good either, but they're like Houston's way worse than
Yeah.
the Bears. I don't see like the same thing playing out in this one. I think it'll be 21-12. Um, Jacksonville.
Next game we got Broncos Chiefs. Broncos first game without Nathaniel Hackett. Going to Kansas City or coming off the win versus Seattle. I think this is pretty big for Kansas City because the Bengals and Bills play each other. I'm pretty sure on Monday night. So this could be good for their number one seed hopes if things turn out how they want to turn out. I think they want the Bills to lose, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're going to want the Bills.
because the Bengals I think are still behind them. So as long as they win, the Bengals aren't catching them.
Okay. So then if the Bengals win, the Bengals would be the same record as the Bills, I think. And then the
Yeah.
Chiefs would have the number one. Okay, yeah. So Chiefs are definitely going to want to not take the Broncos lightly. I think they played recently, and I think the Broncos gave them a little bit of a fight.
game there, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we're getting blown out, then came back, and then the Chiefs were like cool, and then ran away with it again.
yeah. So what do you guys have for this game?
I have the Chiefs winning.
Okay.
This game's in Kansas City, and
Yep.
the way the Broncos season has been going, I think I'm sure that the reason that the Broncos were playing so well at home against Kansas City was just because they were at home, the altitude, and Patrick Mahomes usually doesn't play very well there. But yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs in a much better environment, 35-24.
I have the Chiefs winning as well. I don't think they'll dismantle them like the Rams did. I think that kind of stuff doesn't really happen in division games. Like it can and it has, but it doesn't really all that often. I think it'll be 41-20 Kansas City.
Next game we got Dolphins Patriots. This is big for the wild card spots in the AFC. Dolphins, I believe they're on a 4-game losing streak right now, and the Patriots came back against Cincinnati but couldn't finish it off. They're at 7-8. This is in New England, Foxborough. What did the Patriots? Yeah, the Patriots played the Dolphins. What was the score of that game, or like who won that game?
Earlier in the season.
I think the Dolphins
No, the
won.
Dolphins.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
week
that was
one?
week one.
I think the Dolphins.
destroyed them.
And Mac Jones played
Yeah, Dolphins
awful.
won that one. Okay, so Patriots are going to want to definitely win this one here. This is probably their last chance at a playoff spot if they want to actually make it. So, what do you guys have in this game?
Well, I don't think Tua is playing, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah,
No.
No,
it's t-
Teddy B is starting.
So I got Teddy B winning a close game 17-16. I think Mac Jones has an off day. I, um, yeah, it's going to be a dogfight, but it's also going to be kind of sluggish at the same time. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that one.
I have New England winning 24-21. I think it'll be a gross close game. There's going to be a lot of punting. There's going to be a lot of turnovers. It's not going to be fun to watch unless you're a Dolphins or Patriots fan. But I think the Patriots, the they like the Patriots are like the Vikings last year. They can compete with anybody. They just can't like they can compete with everybody, but they can't beat everybody. So I think, and the Dolphins just make too many mistakes on their own to win games at this point. They're the same way. They can compete with anyone, but I wouldn't say they can't beat anybody. They just can't stop beating themselves. So I just see New England winning 24-21.
um next game we got Colts Giants. Giants, I believe, get into the playoffs with a win here. Um, Colts pretty much not much to play for. I don't know who their starter will be for this game. Nick Foles did not play too well on that Monday night game
Yeah.
against the Chargers. Giants played pretty well against Minnesota. Unfortunately, they couldn't finish that game. In overtime, that game was ended with a 61-yarder by Greg Joseph. So the Giants have this one at home. Like I said, they control their own destiny. They've got some teams behind them, but they're still pretty much in control of what they got to do. They just got to beat the Colts and nothing to worry about there. What do you guys have for this game?
I have a pretty interesting game for the Giants. I have them winning 24-13. They're not really a high-powered offense where they're going to like dismantle the Colts, but the Colts don't really have a prayer to really win for the rest of the season, honestly.
Yeah, I have the Giants winning this one too. I think it'll be 20 or my bad, 17-3. I just the Colts I think are going to struggle to put up points. The Giants they don't have a very great offense, but they're efficient. They can move the ball pretty good, and I think they'll do enough to put up 17. I think their defense will do enough to prevent Indy from scoring more than 3. So 17-3.
Um, Next game we got Saints and Eagles. Eagles get the number one seed with a win out of their last two games. The Saints, pretty sure, still fighting for that number one spot in the division. But the Bucks play the Carolina Panthers this week, so that's probably a bigger game. So Saints, it's going to be a tough one, but if they can get the win here, it's going to be huge for them. What do you guys have? Do you think the Eagles will be able to pull this one off? Jalen Hurts will not be playing.
I'd love,
I was gonna say I didn't know if Hurts was
yeah.
playing or not yet. He practiced yesterday, so I wasn't sure.
I think he's doubtful.
I
Damn, as a Vikings fan, I really hate to hear that. That's unfortunate. Poor Eagles fans. God, that must be awful. Anyway,
I'd love to go bold here and pick the Saints to win this game and an upset, like for my upset pick of the week. But I'm gonna stay safe this week. A lot of my picks are pretty safe. So I'm gonna go with but it's gonna be an interesting one to watch. It's not gonna be Eagles taking command the entire game. So I have the Eagles winning 27-20.
in all seriousness, I do hope Jalen Hurts is fine. So no one thinks I'm an awful human being because he is right there with Mahomes in the MVP race. It's fun to watch players like that play. But Cardinal Minshew is not your regular backup. They only lost by 6 to a really good Cowboys team, so not having Hurts. Well, here, let me go back on that. It's not that not having Hurts is a thing. It's having Minshew play back there is good for them. He's like good enough to start for them. So it's not like I'm not trying to take away from Jalen Hurts, but Gardner Minshew, you could do a lot worse. And he played really well last week, and I think he'll play really well. The Saints aren't very good. I think the Eagles will win 30-13. Walk very merrily into that number one seed tomorrow.
Next game, we got Panthers Bucks. Panthers can get the NFC South with both of the wins in the Week 17, Week 18. Buccaneers, this would be huge if they can win this game here. They're playing offense, are looking a little bit better. Obviously, still haven't played the most complete game, but a win here is pretty much all they're looking for. What do you guys see happening in this big NFC South meetup?
I have the Bucks winning a close game, 23-20.
Okay.
They're at home. I'm sure the weather's going to be crappy. I don't think the Panthers play well in bad weather. I feel like it has to be picture perfect for them half the time to win. I don't see Brady going under 500 and in a season. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, something is telling me to pick the Panthers, but I think whatever it is not thinking straight. I just see the Buccaneers as being the more complete team and winning. I think it'll be 20-17 Bucks.
Could you guys see the Panthers retaining interim Steve Wilkes?
I think if the Raiders didn't keep their guy last year at the end of the year,
They
nobody's
should
keeping
have.
their
They
interim.
should have.
They
Yeah.
should
They
have,
should have,
but
yeah. I think he's in
I mean,
Green
the
Bay.
Vikings kept Leslie Frazier, but I feel like that was a little bit different of a situation. Because he was legitimately before, like, Childress got fired, people were like, oh, Leslie Frazier is a head coaching candidate. Uh, nobody knew who that special teams coach was. I can't even remember his name. He did an awesome job, so I don't mean to disrespect him. Nobody knows him, kind of thing. But I think it was a little different than that. And Steve Wilkes has been a head coach, wasn't he? And he just
Yeah,
didn't
Cardinals.
do very
He was.
well.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
one and done with the Cardinals with Josh Rosen.
yeah. Granted, I will say that's not his fault having Josh Rosen as your
Yeah.
quarterback, but I just think people learn from stuff like that. And like Adam Gase, yeah, he was a head coach before, but then he was just as much a disaster. It's like a guy gets fired for a reason.
Yeah,
Right.
And I know there'll be, oh, what about Doug Peterson? Doug Peterson
I
won a
th-
Super Bowl. There's a
I
big
think if you're the
difference.
Panthers and you can't get D'Amico Ryans, and I think that's really it. Honestly, stick with Wilkes. Unless I'm missing
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah.
Next game, we got the Browns and the Commanders. So the Commanders still have hold of the 7th seed, but have the Seahawks, Lions, and Packers on their heels. Browns officially were eliminated from the playoffs last week. So, I mean, at this point, they're just playing for pride, just trying to get the chemistry right with Deshaun Watson. Commanders will be at home here. What do you guys have for your predictions?
I have the Commanders winning. I'd love to see them win. I would say this is like my 50-50 one. This is the 50-50 of the week. 17-13. Is Heineke or Wentz playing this week? I think Wentz is.
It's Wentz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wentz. Which I think is stupid.
Little
but-
script prediction. I'd say that the Commanders are down 10-13 with 5 minutes left. Heineke comes in, wins the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That'd be pretty cool. I see the Commanders winning. I think for their sake they better, because I think this is a type of, if you don't pull it together now, you're never going to kind of thing. So if they don't win this week, they're not going to win next week, and they're going to miss the playoffs. Like, I think this game is their season. It's like gut check, get serious time. I think they win a very, very close, high scoring game, 30-28. Commanders win.
Do the Commanders play Philly next week?
No, Dallas.
No.
Dallas? Oh, that's still
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. If they lose tomorrow, I mean, their season's over.
The Eagles win tomorrow. I think Dallas is not winning. Or Dallas. Oh, they might still want to play spoiler for a division opponent.
Right.
Yeah, but if Philly wins, there's really not much to spoil. Like they'll probably sit their guys if they take the 1 seed next
No, what I'm
tomorrow.
saying, if Philly wins, I think they get the division and the first round bye. So there's really nothing for the Cowboys to fight for. Um, yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like Philly wants to spoil
If
things for Dallas.
no, I'm saying
Dallas wants to spoil for
if
Commanders.
the Commanders, yeah. Yeah, so
Oh, okay, okay.
If
Yeah,
Philly wins
yeah,
tomorrow, I
okay.
think they get the division and they get the first round bye. So there's really nothing for the Cowboys to play for. So they could rest their starters
Other
for the
than ruining the
and
Cowboys
then
season.
and then yeah, and then against the
Oh, I see.
Commanders, the Cowboys could play their starters instead of resting them because they have really nothing much to play for after that. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah,
I hope I got
I
to the
see what you're
point,
saying.
No, I get what you mean.
You
Yeah,
did.
or I
Yeah,
explained it
I
right.
totally
Yeah,
get what you mean.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Next one we got 49ers Raiders. 49ers got the win last week versus the Commanders. The Raiders fell apart at the end, lost to Pittsburgh. Um, so yeah, the 49ers have still been winning since the McCaffrey trade. I don't think they've lost. Definitely not since Brock Purdy's been in. They've been looking really good. They looked really good last week, especially Purdy and Kittle versus Washington. Uh, what do you guys have for this game?
This game was the only game that I was afraid of to finish out the season for the Niners. But
Hmm.
now that Carr's not playing, I mean, hopefully I'm not jinxing it, reverse jinxing it, or jinxing it. That's what I mean. But I have the Niners winning 24-7. I don't think McCaffrey's going to play too much in this game. I think it's going to be all Jordan Mason. IU, it's probably going to be, I would love to see a Jawan Jennings game and in this one. Uh, I think Bosa is going to get more closer and closer to the sack record. I think he's at 17.5 now though. But I don't know, we'll see with that. But yeah, I think it's a pretty bland game for the Niners. Uh, liking 24-7.
Yeah, if like Zach said, if Carr was playing, maybe I'd consider this one like a tight one. Because like, yeah, it's I've said this a million times about other teams, but the Raiders aren't bad. They just can't
Yeah.
finish games. So if Carr was there, I'd be like, the Niners got something to look out for. Carr's not playing. I don't see it really going well for Las Vegas. I think it'll be 28-10
Yeah,
49ers.
and I don't want to say that like Carr is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Carr is just a different player playing at home. Like every game that Carr's played in, like this season and last season, like he's just a different player. It's so weird. Like it's like he is a top five quarterback in the league when he's playing at home. So that's why I was afraid of this game coming in.
Hmm. Uh, Next game we got the Jets Seahawks. Both these teams still fighting for a wild card spot. Seahawks have been, they started the season a lot stronger than what they're finishing it with. The Jets definitely want to get back on track with some wins. So do the Seahawks. So what do you guys have in this game? I think the Jets will be starting Mike White too.
I have the Jets winning 14-9. I feel like Geno Smith is coming back down to earth. Or maybe Mike White comes back down to earth in this one. I know. Oh my God, huge stutter. I know I keep saying like coming back down to earth, like these players are awful to begin with. It's not really what I'm saying. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But I just have the Jets winning 14-9. It's in Seattle. It could go either way, but yeah, that's my prediction.
Yep.
Mike White playing with Mike White sometimes is different for the Jets.
It's the Geno Smith revenge game we've been waiting for all
Oh
our lives.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the Jets win this 21-17. I think it'll be close, but I think the Seahawks are in a. If you had asked me who's the more legit team, I'd say it's the Jets. Their defense is very, very
Yeah.
good. So I think could be a good team next year, but I think Jets are the better team. The better team wins this one 21-17.
Yeah. And the Seahawks have definitely exceeded expectations, and you could probably say the same for the Jets. I just think
Oh,
the
yeah,
Jets,
definitely.
man, like watching their game against Jacksonville, like their defense is very it's it's playoff caliber. It's just the offense went on the field and just looked so
God.
bad.
It's like the 2012. It's like the 2012 Vikings. You had Adrian Peterson
Yeah.
as the only form of offense, and that defense was playing pretty well. And then it's like, well, now what? If your defense plays bad and your running back can't get you more
Mhm.
than 50 yards, you're gonna get blown out.
But the Jets do look way different with Mike White, so that could play a factor. Obviously, we saw that Minnesota game; they were moving the ball pretty well. It is Minnesota too, so there's a bunch of things to consider. Our defense isn't the greatest.
If it was Zach Wilson, I'd pick the Seahawks
Oh yeah, definitely.
because I do think they're that close. But again, I do think the Jets are the more legit, well-rounded team. But if it was Zach Wilson, he just makes so many mistakes. He's very selfish. I don't think he could pull it together to win on the road in Seattle.
Um, Next game we got the Vikings Packers. Packers trying to get that 7 spot. They're going to need some help with Washington and Detroit, and I believe Seattle as well. The Vikings still trying to lock up the number 2 seed. Still actually have the number 1 seed available for them if things go their way with Philadelphia. Um, so yeah, the Packers are actually favored in this game, which is nothing new for the Vikings opponents. So what do we have for this game?
I have the Vikings winning 31-28 in a close game. Again,
31 to 20?
31-28.
28, okay.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say. I mean, Green Bay, yeah, they're fighting for the playoffs, but I don't know. I feel like the Vikings finally pull it together and finally spoil a division rival's playoff hopes.
So I want to pick Green Green Bay because we talked about the jinx last time and me being on here, and the Vikings losing the following week. And I'm going to pick Green Bay just for our sake, just for my points' sake in this. I think Green Bay will win 27-24 for this sake. But I do think it's a game the Vikings could, should, and will win. But my prediction, I know that sounds ridiculous. I think the Vikings are going to win, but I'm predicting the Packers are going to win. But Packers 27-24.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens. Not going to say too much.
Next game we got Rams Chargers. So the Rams put up 50 on the Broncos last week. The Chargers solidified a playoff spot finally last week. So not much to play for them besides seeding in the wild card spots. So what do we have for this game?
I have the Chargers winning 23-13. Really not much to say about this. Chargers have a playoff spot locked up. They can't really move in the seeding. I mean, if they want to try, they can, but yeah, that's where I have it. Rams really not playing for anything. I mean, it could be an upset. Might be more Rams fans than Chargers fans in the stadium. That might help a little bit, but I don't know. Chargers are obviously the better team, so that's who's winning.
This is my bold prediction of the week. I think the Rams will win 30-20. I won't say I see the Chargers being complacent, but like the Rams have been playing better with Baker Mayfield, besides save for the Packers game. But otherwise, they've been playing pretty good football. They're capable of being good. I have bold prediction: Rams win this one 30-20. Baker Mayfield throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns.
Interesting.
So that's my bold prediction right there. 350 and 3 touchdowns for Baker Mayfield.
That's actually your
and a
bold
win.
prediction? Okay.
Yeah, that's actually my bold prediction.
Let me just get that down, man. So 350 and 3 touchdowns? Dang.
Baker, yeah. I'm not going to say anything about interceptions because it's Baker Mayfield. Even when he plays well, he throws picks. So.
Right.
And we already had our 30-minute Baker Mayfield segment a few weeks ago, so I'm just going to stop
Yeah.
right there with the Baker talk.
Next game, we got the Steelers and the Ravens. So Steelers had that comeback last week against Las Vegas. Ravens, they're 10-5 right now. Still have the the division in sights. Still, Lamar is not going to be playing. What do we see happening in Baltimore for this game?
Pittsburgh has a really good chance to win this game. But oh my God, I had it. It could really go either way. I
Mm-hmm.
have Baltimore right now though winning in a slugfest 15-10. It wouldn't shock me if Pittsburgh beat them by a possession plus, but that's kind of like where I have it right now.
Yeah, I have Pittsburgh winning this one. Mike Tomlin teams have yet to miss the playoffs. I don't think it's happening this year. I think they're in a control of their own destiny situation. I think, well, that might not be true. I think a few other things need to happen for them, but I think they'll pull it together. I think they'll beat the Ravens. I agree with Zach. It will not be a very high scoring game. It will not be it will not be a pretty game. I think 13-10 Pittsburgh.
Okay, Pittsburgh. All right.
Yeah, they'll win 13-10, I believe, is what they won by last week, too. 2 weeks in a row, 13-10 for Pittsburgh.
Next game, we got Bills-Bengals, last game, Monday night. What do we have for this game here? Or I think this is on Monday night, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in prime time either
Yeah,
or. I can't remember. I'll double
It
check
is, yeah.
that. Yeah, it's Monday night. And it's in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember where it was, but
This is going to be a pretty fun game to watch. At least I hope so, just because of the matchup. The Bills.
yeah, for once I'm excited for Monday
If
Night
the
Football.
Bills want to play the AFC Championship or any other playoff game in Orchard Park against the Chiefs, they got to win this one. And I do think they pull it out 38-35. In this one, my bold prediction, I'll segue from that, is Josh Allen will throw for 400 plus yards and 5 touchdowns.
Hey.
Pass for 5 touchdowns, not 5 total touchdowns.
Oh, 500 passing. That makes it
Or
different.
no, 400.
Oh, I mean, 400
So 400 yards, 5
passing
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
5 passing touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's bold. It's bold. Okay. Christian.
The Bengals are hot. Joey B is always hot. I love me some Joey B. I think they win in arguably one of the games of the year, 40-34. Bengals win it. I think it'll be an overtime win too. They'll win on a touchdown in overtime, 40-34.
Joe Buck is broadcasting
Well,
this one. This should be fun.
And we'll be talking about this game until this regular season's over and it's time to move on to the playoffs. Granted, it'll only be a week, but you know what I mean. We'll be like, damn, that was a good ass game.
Every game Joe Buck broadcasts. Joe Buck always gets lucky with broadcasts. Like something like crazy always happens. And I feel like it's gonna happen in this one too.
True. Yeah. So we have bold predictions next. I'm just gonna get mine out the way. So, do you guys remember? I'm just gonna give a little history lesson here. Do you guys remember the Chiefs-Rams Monday Night Football game?
Yes.
Yes. Only time a team has scored 50 and lost.
That game finished 54-51, combined total of 105 points, if I'm doing my math correctly. So, my bold prediction for this Monday Night Football game, I'm going to say the Bengals and the Bills combined for 80 points, and 4 interceptions will be thrown in this game.
Total or
By total or by one guy specifically?
Total. 4 interceptions.
All right.
all right.
2 for each, 3 for 1 and 1 for
Most likely 3 and 1. Josh
4 for
Allen,
1. You can't reveal that. Can't reveal what you're
Could
feeling.
be Josh Allen, you know.
4 for 1, 3 for 1.
Could be
Super
4
Bowl.
picks by one person. Could be 3 for 1. You know, you never know.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Suppose we will see.
We'll be
I
seeing.
love it. I do think it'll be one of the games of the year, and it seems we all agree. I'm hoping it is. If it turns out to be like a fucking
No.
7-3 game, and it's like,
Shoulda.
I would be
Shoulda.
so pissed. I would be so disappointed. I'd be like, of course, we're all so excited for the best matchup I think so far this year, based on like how the teams are doing, what their records are. It's Monday Night Football. Like it is like a game to watch. So if it's disappointing, that's gonna it's gonna suck so bad.
Yeah. That would suck. I mean, there's so many big time receivers in this game that, like, you know, you got the
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins,
Yeah.
you got Gabe Davis and Diggs. Like, they make deep plays, big plays. Like, that suck. But it should be a good game. I mean, like the Chiefs Rams game, like going into that 54-51 game, both those teams were hot, had top offenses, and that game lived up to the expectations,
Yeah.
and even more than that. Like that's a historic game.
And
Yeah.
more, and some. So, I hope and expect something very similar Monday night.
Yeah. So we got the bold predictions out the way for you guys as well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much everything. Anything else that I missed before we head out?
I think that covers it.
Okay.
If the Vikings lose tomorrow,
Mhm.
Marcos, I am not coming
During the
on
playoffs, yeah.
during the playoffs. I will not.
let's hope the
Kidding.
reverse psychology works for this.
Yeah, let's hope. Because I predicted they'd beat the Eagles, they lost, and then I predicted they'd lose to Dallas, and they lost, and then I predicted they'd lose to Detroit, and they lost. So maybe this one will it'll be like a reverse of how things have gone. I was wrong the first time, right the next two. Hopefully, I'm wrong
Mhm.
this time.
Yeah. More great trivia
Yeah.
too.
Just flip.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, man, with the trivia, you guys did really well. Like,
Okay.
that's definitely like I feel like the best performance we'll get. Like some of these players are random, like very random players. Like I was
Troy
not
Williamson.
thinking Troy Williamson. I was not thinking Arden Key. Like,
Arden.
you know?
Those
Who
are
was that?
Zach
Yo,
pulled those
you're,
together.
Christian, you're lucky I came up with Arden Key for Carlos Hyde. Because then that got you.
Yeah, Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to give myself a little credit for knowing
That
Alex
was-
Hainsworth played on the
yeah,
fucking
that was good.
Patriots.
That was, yeah.
And Taylor Heineke. I mean, if you're a Vikings fan, you know he played for you, but I feel like people forget he started that game
Yep.
for the Texans.
Definitely.
So it's because Zach, I mean, out of the two of us, Zach's the bigger one, but I feel like, I don't know who the other people you have on are, but I feel like we're the biggest football nerds.
Yeah, you guys
like,
know the history pretty well, you know. So I think that helps in this type of game for sure. But yeah, that's everything for the podcast, episode 37. You know, Happy New Year to you guys, of course.
Happy New Year.
Stay safe and everything like that. So
Happy New Year.
appreciate you guys,
Of course.
coming on and all that. Thank you guys. And we will see you
Appreciate it,
guys
Evans.
very soon.